All right, I'm going to be a little transparent today. Every now and then, I like to be transparent. I like to go deep and I like to go in depth. Now, I got four boys, and I want to stay on topic regarding my two oldest sons. I have a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old. My 20-year-old is in the Army, and he's been in the Army roughly a year and a half, give or take. My 19-year-old, he was living with me, and I have sole physical and sole legal custody of all my children. And there was a situation that took place about 2 or 3 days ago. My boy, my second oldest, which is the 20-year-old, he's graduated from high school already. Um, I helped him get his first two jobs, and his second job, he let other family members talk him out of working. And of course, I asked him in depth, be honest with me, son. Did you do it because so and so told you you should quit your job? In other words, to find other work? Because I've always told him, you don't quit a job unless you have one in hand. And if you hear snoring in the background, that's my pug. So I explained to him, never let anybody talk you out of your job. And even if you don't like your job, you do not quit your job, no matter what. You keep your job. Because most people, right, they hate their job. I don't like my job. I never liked any jobs that I've had in the past, but I like that money, right? That money, I explained to my son in great details many times. Never quit your bread and butter unless you have something else in hand. So he was honest and he said, look, Dad, I was tired of working and everybody had me do all kind of stuff. And I said, exactly, son, you're at the bottom of the totem pole, right? You're the grunt. You're the new person on the block. So you got to do those things. You got to do extra work. But you have to remember it's about the money. And so I told him, had you told me that, I would have talked you off the ledge instead of quitting. Long story short, he quits his job. And I'm thinking to myself, I just told the boy what not to do. And he did it anyways. Go lay down. Go lay down. I'll be with you in a moment. He want to get the camera. He want to know what's going on, who I'm talking to, right? So let me get back on subject. So he quits his job. Bottom line is, I've been there, done that when I was his age. I done stupid things, so I can relate. But it's my job as father to teach. And long story short, he's a video game player, right? Plays on the internet. All his friends, or majority of them, on the internet. And lately, I've told him, not lately, actually 3 days ago, I told him, look, man, you ain't playing no more video games until you find work. Because he just doesn't have the drive to find work. And I'm to the point, and my wife is to the point where we're like, nah, hell no. You got to find work. You want to play video games? Cool. Um, you're going to be a working man. You're going to be uh, bringing home some money. So I explained to him, you will not be working, oh, excuse me, you will not be playing any more video games until you find work. Now, the whole point of me bringing that up to him is to motivate him, to push him to make things happen, to get that back again, right? To get that drive back. You know, we're trying to get him to get back to being ambitious again. So I guess he was fine with that. At least that's what it looked like. And then I told him after uh, after you can't find work after 6 months, then we're gonna have to, because he has like free form dreads to come down to here all the way around. And I explained to him, if you can't find work after about 6 months, you're gonna have to get a haircut, son. Get a fade on the side. You know, maybe keep some of the dreads, but have it more organized. Because I explained to my son many times, when you go for an interview, there's many other applicants that are in your position and they're looking for work. And you're pretty much saying, by going to an interview, by filling out the application, by showing up, pick me, pick me, pick me. I'm the guy for the job. I'm him. Look no further. You guys may agree, you may disagree. Everybody has their own opinion, right? So here's my thought on it. I've always told them, look, your body, if you're wearing a shirt and tie, if you're clean shaven, if your hair is neat and orderly, you smell good, you look good, that's your package. And you're selling yourself and you're letting them know without saying it. And in an interview, yeah, you can say it. I'm him. I'm that guy. I'm ready to work. And I told him, in this society, you have to learn how to play the game. Well, as soon as he heard, well, let me back up. So I called my boy up, my second oldest, and of course, mom was in the room too, and my son, my second oldest. My first oldest, I called up. I said second, but it's my first oldest, right? I'm not giving any names purposely, but I'm trying to be somewhat transparent. So, anyways, I call up my oldest son that's in the military. I'm like, hey, look, man, you got a moment? I want you to sit in on this family meeting because he's out of state. And he's like, yeah, sure, pops. So he gets on the phone, and again, he's listening. I put him on speaker. So I'm telling my second oldest son, here's the deal. Again, if you want to stay here, cool. I have no problem. Me and your mom have no problem helping you out, but you got to help yourself. So no more video games. As soon as he heard that, he was like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm leaving." And then also him having to get some kind of haircut if he can't find work after 6 months. So my wife was explaining to him, look, son, all you're hearing right now is you can't play video games for 6 months and you're going to get a haircut if you can't find work. And my wife is trying to explain to him, your father is trying to tell you, we'll work with you, but you need to work with us. Bottom line is, he wanted to leave. And where do you go? He lived with his mother before, and it's short lived. And ever since he's been an adult, he's lived with me, and it's short lived. He goes back and forth. And then now he wants to also go. One of the options he has is either he lives with his mother if his mother accepts him back, or he lives with his friend, which his friend's mother is taking care of everything. So he still wouldn't be 100% independent. He's still going to be living with someone else and have to deal with their rules and regulations. So my son gets on the phone, right? He's much more mature. He's been through some things. If you look at my past videos, you'll look at my archives, you'll pick up on it. You'll find out what happened with him. I'm not even gonna give up the information in this video. Y'all gonna have to look at my past videos to find out the deal with him and me. But this young man, I am extremely proud of all my children, all my boys. But this particular young man, my eldest son, he has went through hell and back, and very mature. He literally told his younger brother, look, man, in other words, that's stupid to just leave. Dad's not telling you to leave. Dad's telling you you can't play any video games until you get some work, until you get adequate work, until you get 40 hours a week. And then dad will work with you. Mom and dad will work with you. But dad is trying to help you grow. Dad is trying to push you to another level. And so pretty much my son, my oldest son, was asking my younger son, look, man, do you really want to work? And he's like, yeah, I do. He's like, I don't know, man. It seems like you really don't want to work. Now, he did say to his brother, his little brother, he said, man, dad and mom have given you everything. And he put emphasis on dad on me because I'll make a long story short regarding my oldest son. His biological mom, when he was before he was born, used to live with me, but she started doing all kind of other stuff, drugs and stuff, and I kicked her out, had her go back home with her mom. And to make a long story short, she disappeared. So I only seen my boy one time. And this is my eldest, the one that's in the Army. I was paying child support, and I had him all those years. I was paying child support, and I had him on my, he was utilizing my benefits. At that time, I was like 25, young and dumb. And it's no excuse. I take full responsibility for my actions because I could have went to court. And I had two other young boys at that time, taking care of them. And I wasn't man enough to go to court. I was scared. And I didn't have the proper support. Some things happened with my eldest son and his siblings on his mom's side, because she went on with her life and, had different relationships and whatnot. And something happened to where my son, the foster services or social worker got involved with him and his siblings pertaining to his mom. So I only seen my son one time. And it was tough on my son. So I got a call when my son Julius, my eldest, was 11 or 12. And the social worker said, hey, look, I found you. And I was surprised, like, I don't know how you found me, because I was trying to find my son all these years and I obviously couldn't find him. And so the social worker was like, look, we see that you have him on your insurance and you've been paying child support, blah, 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 right? And she was like, we have your son in our care. He's in a foster home or something like that. And can you come down to court, come to the court and, in other words, fight for your son? I said, absolutely. So bottom line is I went down there and went in front of the judge. And the judge was like, look, your son's mother lied to your son all these years and said you were dead. And it would be detrimental if I were to give you to your son or give your son to you. And there was nothing I could do. There was nothing I could do. I had to wait till the boy turned 18 and then look for him, which I did. My wife and I has been looking for him for years, but this is a good point here. Whenever you need help, maybe some parents can relate. You need to speak up, and thank God I did, because one of the family members on my wife's side, because we were having discussions over, I think it was like over Thanksgiving or some kind of holiday, and I was talking to one of the older cats that's older than me, and he was like, "Dude, I will do everything I can to find this dude, to find your son." And so bottom line is he found him. I reached out to him, and I think it was months before he went into the military. Make a long story short, when I finally contacted him, he was like, and of course he didn't call me dad at the time, but bottom line, he was like, I wouldn't even have went into the military had you were able to contact me before. Because I contacted the aunt, right? I contacted his aunt to contact him. The aunt, I don't know, never seen the Facebook message or whatever. And hindsight, me and him's been talking about it. And of course he was like, "Dad, had my aunt told me, or had she seen the message, you would have contacted me before I went into the military," because he had nowhere to go. It's a really sad story. And as a man, I take full responsibility. And I told my son I wasn't man enough to do what I should have did. I should have went to court. And I feel like scum, the worst person. But this is me being transparent. So bottom line is, going back, when my eldest son, the one that's in the military, talked to his younger brother, pretty much tried to talk him off the ledge. He literally told him, "Look, man, I wish I received everything that you received as from Dad. I wish I received everything that you received from Dad." This is what he's telling his younger brother. "I didn't get a chance to have that, but you did." And in other words, he's letting them know you've squandered everything that Dad has poured into you as a man, as a father. And I'm just now building with Dad. He was like, "Honestly, I don't even know that man, but we're building now." And obviously, my eldest son forgives me. But he was just trying to be an older brother, a good brother to his younger brother, and let him know, like, "Dude, you've been in a privileged position. You've had Dad all your life. I didn't." Me and my son, my oldest son, we've been building for a year. And that's what he told him. He was like, "Look, man, I only known Dad for a year. And I haven't even seen my son since he was an infant. And I can't really see my oldest son right now because he's out of state and he's in the military. But eventually, when he gets time off, we're going to break bread and we're going to come together." But my oldest son didn't have to do that. And I know that. He could have been like, "Screw you. You didn't want me," or whatever the case is, "you abandoned me," or "you got all these damn excuses on why you couldn't show up, but you showed up for your other kids." And he's never said that to me. But I'm saying all that to say this. My younger son, he said, I'm leaving. I don't want to live here." And he started to leave. And so I explained to him, "You've done this so many times." I think it was a good 3 or 4 times. that he's left and came back, left and came back, left and came back. I told him, look, um, you can't keep doing this, son. You cannot keep doing this. And he was like, I'm a black sheep. And I'm like, really? What is a black sheep? You tell me. And he couldn't tell me. And I told him, I said, was I a black sheep? Or excuse me, were you a black sheep when I've been taking care of you, me and mom been taking care of you all your life? Did I abandon you? Did I make those kind of mistakes with you? Is it so? Are you saying you're a black sheep? No, that's not a black sheep. Were you a black sheep when we were feeding you and clothing you and keeping a roof over your head? He had to say no. And he was like, let me leave. And he got violent. So he went to push me, and I grabbed him, and I slammed him on the bed, and I just held him there to take control. And he was like, I hate you. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to send my homeboys after you to kill you. Now, once I heard those words, I knew, as the vanguard of my family, as the protector of my family, I have to think like a boss. I've always thought like a boss, but I have to really think and move a certain way now, right, with him. I still love my boy, but I cannot have him in my household ever again. Not to live here. Not for, and he can't even visit for a long time. So I hold him down and I let him know, I will not let you go until you get yourself together, young man. You must gain control over yourself, or I'm not going to let you go. And of course, he's yelling like a crazy man. So I finally let him go. And I held him down so he can calm down. And I didn't want him to tear up some shit. And I'll be honest with you, when it comes to black folks, we don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that. And we don't cuss our family out. And we don't put hands on our father or our mother. Now, when I was a kid, I remember my dad would tell me, you're going to have a son just like you, right? And the boy is like me. But one thing I never did, I did curse my dad out when I was around his age, but I never put hands on my father. I never pushed him. I was afraid of my father. I had reverence, and I still have reverence and respect for my father. But I don't know what's going on with this generation. So bottom line is, he leaves, and I make sure he leaves because I'm following him, right? And before he leaves, he spits on the floor. And it took everything out of me not to hurt the young man. So he left. I'm saying all that. You say, well, hey, what's the moral of the story, Mike? Most of my videos has always been talking about food, clothing, and shelter, and talking about how everything is too damn high in America, right? And how we live in a capitalistic society. Another way to become homeless is when you don't listen. When young men, right? Because he's an adult, but in our eyes, he's still our son, and we still see, yes, he's an adult, but he's still our kid, right? The moral of the story, young people or young adults, if you're living with your parents, play the game until you can get on your feet and do it the right way. This world is unmerciful, at least the system unmerciful. This world is unforgiving. If you're living with your parents and they nice enough and love you enough to work with you and to ride with you when you're losing jobs or you're quitting jobs and trying to help you get another job so you can live and learn. Because I've been there, done that. I've been through several jobs as a young person. So I understand. But you never want to get so angry where you can't think anymore, where you can't think in your best interest. Wait, hold on. My parents, They just saying, look, I can't play any games until I find work. It should have been in his mind, hey, look, him thinking to himself, okay, they working with me. Well, I need to hurry up and find work. But he didn't go there. He wanted to take advantage. He wanted to do what he wanted to do. He wanted to be a boss. Well, there's only one lion in this house, and that's me. So if you guys have any stories like that, because I looked at my demographics, my what is it called, statistics and stuff on YouTube, and my largest audience is like from 45 to 65. So I'm quite sure there's some fathers out there that have experienced something similar, and mothers. Um, but this is a cautionary tale, you know, for young men. If you got help from your family, take advantage. How you take advantage? Get you a job, hold on to the job, and save your money. So when you finally do move out, you can move out like a boss and have some money in your pocket. And we're not even talking about, why not take a class here and there and get a degree while you're living with your parents as an adult? And also, I get it. We live in a society today where there's more young adults staying home with their parents more than ever before because everything is too damn high. The price of living is too high. So I honestly didn't want to make this video as long as I made it. Like, subscribe, and share. This is Mike Chevalier. I'm going to always keep it simple and precise.